Alright guys, thank you for joining me. Sorry about the audio on this video. I actually thought I was recording the audio when I was doing this video, so I'm going to have to voice over some of it. But anyway, what we have here is a beautiful half of fillet of, well, not fillet, half of a whole Mahi Mahi. I found this in Kroger. I had to get it. This is actually my second time getting it. But right here, I'm going to show y'all exactly how to trim it, portion it, and then we're going to do some cooking as well. So right here, first things first, you definitely want to wash it down. Again, this fish has been frozen. Who knows for how long it's been frozen. But it smells fantastic. It smells fresh, like it just came out to sea. Can't really find Mahi Mahi much here in Georgia, but I'm sure you guys down there in Florida and other parts of the coast have no problem finding it at all. But anyway, let's get to it. What I'm going to do now is trim off this skin. Whenever I cook it, I don't like to use the skin. To me, the texture is just not that great when you cook it. So, I'm gonna flip it over. I've got a 12-inch bubble blade knife that I'll be using to cut this fish. As always, whenever you're trimming or taking skin off a fish, you always want to make sure that you have a sharp blade. So of course I am going to sharpen the blade, and I think this one is like a 12-inch bubble blade. I've had this one for probably like 8 years, but it's a fantastic knife. But anyway, getting back to the fish. And right here, all I'm just trying to do is just line the camera up. This is a new camera, new headset, new microphone, everything I'm working with. So I place my blade as close to the skin as possible. You want to hold the skin as tight as possible. And basically, with a sharp blade, you just want to let the knife do all the work. This is a long fish. So you're going to see me repeatedly go up under there, under the flesh of the skin, under the flesh of the fish rather, and grab the skin to tighten it up as tight as I can. And basically it's just a knife stroke all the way through, just like butter, baby. Alright, and so when you get towards the end, just let the knife rip. And that's it. Fish in hand, skin on the cutting board. And I mean, basically with the skin ain't nothing else to do with it but just throw it away. I mean, you can see I still left a little bit of the meat on there, but I mean, hey. But anyway, let's get back to it. So I'm just going to throw the skin away. And now, getting back to the Mahi Mahi, we have two portions of this fish. There's a thicker portion right there in the front, kind of facing the camera. And then in the back, there's a thinner portion. And basically what I'm showing now is that the fishmonger that processed this fish cut out the bloodline in the front, but he still left a little bit in the back. Doesn't bother me at all. I'm still going to cook it. A lot of people seem to think the bloodline that's right in that line right there makes it fishier. But anyway, we're going to cut right down that line. The skinny portion right here, I'm going to use for fish tacos for another video. Y'all stay tuned for that one. Mahi Mahi makes some great fish tacos. And so while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and portion this one out. You'll see me cutting it up into, small taco size shapes. So I'm probably gonna get like maybe about 6, maybe 7. How many is that? That's 3. That's 4. And then I'm gonna get 2 extra pieces from this bigger piece when I start to cut it. So I'm basically just putting that to the side, put it in a freezer bag or what have you. Now, getting to the bigger portion. Now, what I want to do now is cut this down to maybe about a 3-ounce portion for the way that I'm going to cook it right now. And this one, like I say, had you went to the supermarket and bought this pre-cut, you was probably going to pay about $12 to $15 a pound. So if at all, always buy it whole or buy half of the fish and do all the trimming yourself. And I'm just showing everybody this is probably about a 3-ounce portion, nice size portion for one person to eat. And again, we're going to be marinating this fish and then not roasting it, but sauteing it in a pan to finish it off. So you guys will see that later on in the video. But that's it. That little piece right there, those 2 little pieces are going to go to the taco pile. And I'm gonna take these other 4 to 5 portions, 4 portions, and we're gonna use that for our cook. And that's basically what I'm saying in this video. And again, guys, sorry that I had to voice over this video. I really thought I was recording with the sound, and man, you know, new system. I'm just trying to make the videos as best I can, try to get better quality in them, and just forgot to turn the mic on. But anyway, I'm putting those in a bowl. I have a marinade that I found at the store. Uh, it's a hot and spicy marinade by Allegra. Now, I've used Allegra marinades in the past. They have a brisket marinade, they have a hickory marinade, but this hot and spicy one says it's really good on fish. Really good to marinate in fish. Now, it has lime juice, it has soy, and some other things in it. And then I'm also going to be seasoning it with my seafood dust that I have. Shameless plug, shop.therollandgrill.com if you want to buy some of that. But anyway, getting back to the fish. I'm just going to use a little bit of this, and I'm probably going to marinate it for no more than 30 minutes because I've never used this on fish before, and since it said it had lime juice, I want to make sure that I don't cook the fish before it actually cooks in the pan. So I think that's what I was trying to explain right here. Um, so once I finish rambling, we'll get to pouring a little bit on top of the fish. And again, it's hot and spicy. And I tasted it. It's really good. It said it's really good if you want to marinate it in the fish and then broil it. It recommended broiling the fish in the oven, but nah, that's just not the way I roll. So I'm gonna pour some on the fish at some point in this video. Here we go. Okay. All right, there we go. Pouring some on the fish, probably about a fourth of a cup. Don't take much, as you can see. And I'm going to place this in the refrigerator and let it marinate for no more than 30 minutes. And then we will take it out and proceed to the next step. So in the refrigerator, this one goes. Now it's time to make our chimichurri tomato relish. I guess that's what I'm gonna call it. Basically, I'm using grape tomato, cherry tomatoes. Also going to be using, this is a chimichurri that I always have on. So I always have a chimichurri on standby. Chimichurri is good on anything, pork, beef, chicken. Not a big fan of it on fish, but I think if you tweak it a little bit, it's fantastic. So the star of the show and the topping in this little tomato chimichurri relish is the pancetta. I'm going to use pancetta. I'm going to use the fat from that pancetta to really roast and break down these cherry tomatoes. And so it's going to be a I mean, you're talking about fantastic flavor. Pancetta is basically bacon. But, you know, the fat, you can never go wrong with pork fat. And then we're going to use about a tablespoon of that chimichurri to finish it off. So, pancetta, cherry tomatoes, chimichurri. I'm going to call it a cherry tomato chimichurri relish. How that sound? We won't even mention the pancetta. You'll just see it in the video. But anyway, first things first, I'm going to use about a fourth of a cup of pancetta. You want to make sure you have a hot pan. We want to instantly start searing this pancetta off, breaking down the fat so that I can add the tomatoes in there later. All right, what we're going to do now is add about a fourth of a cup of this pancetta to the pan over medium heat. Going to sear it down real slow, break the fat down, and then we're going to add the tomatoes. Y'all see it. This is what we're looking like. And if you see, you can see that pancetta has some nice little bits of fat. Let me see if my camera can focus. Yeah, it has some nice bits of fat, man. And I don't have a high heat on. I've got a pretty low heat. And I'm just going to render that fat out just a little bit. And it's going to be fantastic with those tomatoes. So just want to give y'all a bird's eye view of exactly what it was looking like. Y'all stay tuned. Okay, now that we have some of the fat rendered down from the pancetta, now I'm going to put in here probably about 6 or 7 of the cherry tomatoes, and we're going to let them cook down until they start to pop. Basically, we're just trying to render all of the juices and everything down, try to caramelize them a little bit and make them sweet. Alright, again, I just want to give y'all a bird's eye view. Got a new camera here that I'm trying out, so hopefully it's focused in. But again, I'm just going to cook these down on real low heat. That good fat is going to make these tomatoes, man, it's going to turn them into something beautiful. No salt needed. You got plenty of salt in that pancetta, so they're going to break down nice. So we'll be back in a minute. Alright, about 5 minutes in, and you can see, hopefully you can see, some of the tomatoes are starting to split open already. And you can really start to smell them. starting to bust open. So about 5 more minutes and we should be ready to take this off and just let it cool. And then what we're going to do is we're going to smash these tomatoes in there. It's going to be phenomenal, y'all. Oh, cloudy vision, so y'all stay tuned. Look at that. Alright, you can see now that our tomatoes are starting to bust open. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and take, this is our chimichurri right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take like maybe about a tablespoon of the chimichurri and put it right in there while it's still warm. And I'm just going to take this off the heat. Let me back up a little bit. I'm going to take this off the heat and just let it sit to the side. And the tomatoes are going to continue to cook. And they're going to continue to break down. So, alright. So I added my chimichurri to that. The tomatoes are going to continue to break down. They're still cooking right now. I just basically took it off the heat. The chimichurri has vinegar in it, red wine vinegar in it. So that's going to cut a lot of the rich fattiness from that pancetta bacon. And like I said, we're just going to let these sit to the side. Let's get to the fish. And then we'll put it all together in a minute. Alright guys, this is the cilantro lime rice. You definitely want to add some good dry cilantro to it. Cilantro, lime, regular white rice, or I like to use jasmine rice sometimes. And just going to mix it up. Water, butter, salt, lime juice, cilantro. Let it rock and roll. But again, this video is not about this. It's about the fish. So let's get back to it. Yeah, boy. Alright, now that we have removed the fish from the refrigerator, we just want to try to get as much of this marinade off as we can, because you don't want to put wet fish in a hot pan. It's just going to do nothing but steam. So we want to go ahead and add some, I'm using an extra virgin olive oil, but if you have a regular olive oil or avocado oil, that would work just as good. And I'm going to be using my seafood dust to season the fish. Alright, as always, you want to make sure you season both sides of the fish. Want to make sure you start off with a nice hot pan so that you can go instantly to searing the fish. And I think we can get like 3 of these in here. And we'll go do about 3 to 4 minutes on one side, get a heavy nice sear on it, and then we'll flip them over. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. 3 pieces, a little bit of olive oil and some good seasonings. That's all you need on this fish right here. So let's let it keep on cooking. We'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, and here we are. After about 3 minutes on one side, we're going to flip it over. I'm doing handheld, y'all, so I hope y'all can see it. Look at that beautiful sear on that fish. And so now I'm simply going to cut my heat down and just let it finish cooking off for another 3 minutes on the other side. Stay tuned. Alright folks, you see all this good juju in the corner? Let me tilt the pan so you can see. You see all that good juju that came off of that fish? That is not going to waste. That we will mix back on top of the fish in some way, some form. I might even put it back in, put it in the roasted tomato relish. So do not throw that away. That is the good stuff. Alright, now it's time to plate it up. So starting with a nice beautiful white plate, we're going to go ahead and put down our cilantro lime rice as much as you like. I like to top it out a little bit, then flatten it out. Next, we're going to go on with the beautiful fillet of fish. Finished off with our, I guess we'll call it a cherry tomato chimichurri relish. And then lastly, those beautiful drippings, man, not throwing those away. Alright folks, and lastly we're going to add the drippings that came off the fish around the rice, and that's it. Beautiful, simple, great way to utilize this fish. So as always, man, I want to thank y'all for joining me here at the Rolling Grill. Sorry about all of the sound issues. We'll definitely get that rectified, but as always, thank you for joining me here. Good foods, good vibes. Yeah, boy.